All right, and now let's get to our guest. He is Phil Simms. He joins us every other Thursday in the Simms Spotlight, presented by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly. Mr. Simms, I know you were very excited today because Paul Dottino was supposed to be back, but Jeff Feagles literally threw a black bag over his head and dragged him out of the room. And you're with Feagles again.
I did you another favor, Phil. You owe me big time.
I do, Jeffrey. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know if I could, but, I think Paul's afraid of me, too. So, and I understand that. I don't blame him. But, he's avoiding me, but that's okay. I have a lot of people that avoid me, so I'm used to it.
Well, Phil, you know what? And I'm going to step in here and, put my little Paul Dottino mask on and go, Phil, you talk about Daniel Jones running it. Now he's got a hurt neck. What do you think about that?
Hey, I'll say this, Paul. Oh, my God, did you know that football is a contact sport? Let's put him in bubble wrap, and let's just keep everybody in, every play, and block. Nobody will be open, but he won't get hit, and let's surely don't run him. Jalen Hurts running everywhere, Zach Wilson running the football. I mean, every game I turn on, the quarterbacks are running, but no, the Giants can't do it. Okay, Paul, answer that, big boy.
I will not. I have the Paul Dottino mask off, but I will ask you this.
Oh, no,
Phil.
I'm talking to Paul when I say that.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, let me ask you this then. So what is a week like this like, where as of recording this, Daniel Jones has practiced a couple straight days. We don't know if he's going to play. It could go as far as a game time decision on Sunday. So what is this like now for the offensive coaches, for the two quarterbacks that do have slightly different skill sets here? Mike Lennon not nearly as mobile as a guy like Daniel Jones.
Sure.
Preparing this game plan for Miami on Sunday.
Well, it's brutal. I don't know what else to tell you. I've watched a lot of Miami Dolphin games this year, and I just sit there and go all the time. And I think we saw the extraordinary example against the Baltimore Ravens that it's a lot to deal with. And to think that they won't do this to us, keep thinking that. I mean, listen, that's part of what they are in defense. They're aggressive. They have a lot of different blitzes, and you think you got it figured out, and they change it up every time. Not only do they do it game from game, guys, they do it from series to series, from play to play. You think, here comes the blitz, I got it, and they play zone. And then here comes the blitz, and they just wall everything off. Then it's man-to-man. Hey, I'll tell you, Brian Flores and that staff, they do a great job on the defensive side. Got a lot of good players, and they can cover wide receivers too.
Well, Phil, if I'm the offensive staff for the Giants, Freddie Kitchen doing the best he could last week on a short week. I would imagine that he'll have a little more responsibility having a full week of preparation. What did you see, and what do you want to see going forward with Freddie and that offense now that Jason is out of there? And did you see anything different?
No, I can't sit there and just go, oh, wow, I noticed a huge difference in the offense. But, you got to give it time. Mm-hmm. And, a good example is Mike LaFleur with the Jets. And not to bring up the Jets on the Giants podcast, but very basic, didn't do much, people complaining. Now I watch them and go, wow, they're doing everything. And they're giving their players, they finally figured out what they want to do and all that. And it helped the quarterback down in Houston. But, he had to keep guys in every once in a while to block, Jeff, so, that limits things down the field. And I thought the Eagles, their front, it's big, it's powerful, hard to run against them a lot of times. And to the Eagles, I thought they were more aggressive covering the Giants than I've seen them this year.
Yep.
I've watched some games, I go, my God, they're into this theory, let's don't blitz and let's stay off and just tackle. And guys were getting a lot of easy completions. That wasn't quite the story with the Giants. But I'll say this, I thought Daniel Jones played very well. I thought he threw the ball very well. He missed two throws, and they're really not misses. But he had a couple back shoulder throws that they just got to get better at. And it's part of the NFL. And to be a successful quarterback big time, Jeff and John, you got to hit these back shoulder throws because they're there, and defensive backs overplay, and they really did for the Eagles. And those back shoulder throws were there, and they got to take advantage of that.
Well, Phil, I want to build on that now, and I'll ask one of our fan questions here from Tommy Sylvester. How does the Giants' offense get cooking against Miami? And you mentioned all their pressure packages. Well, behind that pressure package is more man-to-man defense than you'll see from any other team in the league, whether it's cover 0 or cover 1. And the reason I bring it up now is that you mentioned the back shoulder throw against guys like Xavier Howard, against guys like Byron Jones. They're not going to they're tough guys to throw against, but it's really hard to defend that back shoulder throw against that tight man-to-man defense, isn't it?
It is, and really, once you get experience, listen, if I did it back in my era and understood where the guy was and all that, and it just takes time, and you can, you'll get good at it. But the thing about Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, it's not like a given against those guys. They're big corners, they're fast, they play the ball well, and you got to be a little leery of them and be careful. This Miami defense, it's good. They got a lot of young players out there. They've drafted. I looked at their lineup early this morning, and man, there's a lot of homegrown players on that defensive side. Up front, everything. So it's going to be, it's going to be a tough test for the Giants no matter what happens. And they got to win a tough game. Their defense is going to have to play well. The Miami offense is somewhat limited. They're not like an aggressive, we're scared of what they're going to do and throw it deep down the field. They really don't do that. Very controlled, so I think that gives the Giants a chance to win a low-scoring game.
Phil,
I don't know if I answered your question or not, but I was trying to.
No, you did. That was good.
And
again, okay.
Real quickly on the back shoulder, we talk about this a lot of times on our program here, is that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it, Phil, that if you're a back shoulder throwing football team, it's something obviously you need to practice a lot to master it. Now, are there a lot of teams that just do not want to do that because of the skill set of either the quarterbacks or the receivers? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because I know that Pat Shurmur, when he was here, I remember we were talking to Tyke Tolbert, the receiver coach, and he was like, we don't practice that throw here. Now, I haven't seen. I know that Daniel Jones does do that throw. So give me a little bit of philosophy on both sides there.
Well, it's got to be part of your offense. And, listen, I just say this. All the good throwers in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, we can go down the line. Tom Brady, my gosh, he's an unbelievable back shoulder thrower, not only down the sidelines, but all the upfield seams. That's where it really comes in handy too, Jeff, is the seam passes. When you got a safety in the middle, go right or left, and you predetermine really where you're going to go on those type of plays. But, yeah, it's got to be part of your offense, and you start it in training camp, and it's just who you are. It's like, hey, we got this play, and here's and you don't even talk about it. Here's the back shoulder. They don't even talk about it. It's just part of what you do and how the quarterback thinks. And when you do it enough, the receivers understand where the defender is and where the football is going to go. And it's, like I said, I thought they had two really good chances in the game, and the defender was way overplaying. And now what happens is you got him boxed out, the defender. If you throw a back shoulder and the receiver turns, there's no way the defender can get through there and make the play. So that'll take time. But, man, that's Joe Judge. He was in New England. I know he's a special teams coach, but he must have said at practice going, this is ridiculous. We got to stop these things.
Sure.
But they just all the teams I used to cover games, the teams that were really good at it, they did it constantly in practice too.
Phil, and I just want to kind of build on a question I asked before, without knowing, and you talked about it in relation to the Dolphins defense. In-house for the Giants here, preparing, not knowing who your quarterback's going to be, Jones or Glennon. What is that preparation like? Are there two distinct game plans? Is it the same game plan? How much do you have to adjust based on which guy's healthy? Take us through that a little bit.
Well, yeah, sure. It's going to be different. Daniel Jones, of course, is off-schedule plays, his run plays. That's a big deal. And I know that his neck and all that. But if he plays, I still would expect the Giants maybe to have some runs in, maybe not as much as usual just because of the defense they're playing and how aggressive they can be and all those things. But, it is definitely, can you give Mike Glennon, if Daniel Jones is practicing, can he get enough snaps to really get good at the game plan? And now we're trying to prepare two players for this defense. And all I can tell you is the Cowboys years ago with Ernie Stautner and, oh, my gosh, I'm losing it. Gene Stallings with the St. Louis Cardinals were big double safety blitz guys, and I just can tell you, playing them, I hated it. And so I don't care how good your receivers are and all that other stuff. It's a lot of pressure, and you got to hang in there, and you got to throw the ball away a lot, stuff like that. But if you can hit a couple, it's worth it being prepared for it. So really tough job for the Giants. Just the fact that Daniel Jones is practicing makes me think that I expect to see him on Sunday. You guys know more than me, so that's for sure. I'm just going, the fact that he practiced yesterday, and he's going to practice today or did, I don't know what time the Giants go out.
They're actually on the field right now, Phil. Yep.
They are. Well, that just kind of, and too, I really thought he was really sharp throwing the football. He was very protective where he threw it, stuff like that. And, man, that's something to build on. And, so that it would be really helpful and advantageous to him and the football team if somehow he can get out there on the field and have a good game.
I'm going to switch over to the defense a little bit here,
go ahead, Jeff.
Phil. And, because looking at last game, and I tell you, I look at that Giants defense. They've had their ups and downs, but for the most part, I look at Patrick Graham and his scheme week in and week out. I mean, he's definitely by far one of, in my opinion, one of the MVPs of the season because of the way that he gets those guys to play. He's had injuries coming all over the place. And I look at his scheme last week, how he took away the Eagles' top 2 targets with Smith and Goddard. I mean, those guys were targeted collectively 7 times, and they only had 3 catches. What do you see as far as that on a weekly basis with Coach Graham in the job that he's doing with that defense, Phil?
Well, Jeff, I just thought it was a little they didn't hit the ground running to start the year, but they've just come on and everything, and I think they've done a good job. And I thought his game plan against Philadelphia was very good. They only got caught on a couple things. One, I thought Jalen Hurts, and not to be cruel to the Eagles quarterback because I admire what he's done this year, he played terrible.
Sure.
He made some really bad decisions, really got away with some throws, stuff like that. But, he hung in there, and there he is, got the dang ball at the end of the game, and, he's trying to go down and tie it up or win it. So that was interesting. But they only got hurt by a few runs, and I think the Eagles ran it like 3 or 4 times. And it was a little confusing, but the Giants didn't adjust to it. And I was sitting there going, well, I guess the Eagles are going to run this again. But they didn't come back to it, I think, in the fourth quarter. Whatever. But overall, the game plan was very good. I thought, for the most part, they were on top of the run game. They were on the receivers. And, again, I thought Jalen Hurts made some bad decisions. And, really, the interception at the end of the first half, that didn't even bother me as much as some of the other decisions where I went, wow, he's just throwing it up hoping his guy can make a play. And it's not like a back shoulder. It's just a lob out there, and let's see who gets it. But, I thought the game plan was good. And I thought the Giants hustled. The big thing is, overall, I thought they tackled really well, and the secondary is, they just got a knack for the ball too, I think, and They were close to making more big plays. But you're right, Patrick Graham's done a really good job, and the Giants up front, guys are making a few plays. So I've been impressed with the defense of late for sure.
And Phil, how about the recent performance of the Dolphins offense? So for this Giants defense coming up in this game, we had a fan question about this too. Tua's over 80% the last 2 games. I think when he's played the last 3 games, he's averaged almost 26 points per game. Not a lot of stuff down the field, a lot of RPOs, play actions, kind of protect that offensive line that's not really playing all that well, similar to the stuff we see here with the Giants. So what are some of the challenges that the Dolphin offense puts that out there on the field, and how do you think the Giants defense should attack them?
I think the Dolphins' offense has got confidence now. Tua looks as relaxed and is fitting in and just has a greater feel for the game now than he did all of last year and even early this year. Getting rid of the football quick, he throws in rhythm. Listen, he's going to throw about 6 or 7, whatever you want to call them, slants or mini little inside routes a game. It's play action, throw the ball right away. He did it at Alabama. He was really good at it. Most of the time it was out of the shotgun at Alabama, but now he does it from under the center, and he's going to throw it outside 5 yards. But it's working really well. I think they've done a great job of adjusting to Tua, and what they're doing really fits him well. He gets rid of the football quick. He doesn't hold on to it. And, they take a shot down the field here and there, but he's not a guy that has a strong arm. And, there's a limit to how far he can work the football down the field. But the offense, I give them a lot of credit. It's been a good adjustment by them, especially with Tua in there. And, again, I can just see it watching it on TV and even watching the tapes that he just feels better. The Deshaun Watson drama is behind him. It did affect his play. The Dolphins talked about it. And, hey, look, the Giants go down there and find a way to beat this Miami Dolphins football team will be a really good accomplishment for sure.
Well, they're a good football team. They've won the last 4 games in a row, and that's they kind of snuck up on a lot of people. They even have a chance to get Devontae Parker back this week too, and that would be a big plus for them. One guy that always scares me, the position always scares me to begin with, Phil, and that's the tight end position. When you look at Gesicki, I think that's how you say his name, Gesicki, right?
You got it.
Gesicki,
6'6", 250. Got a lot of targets this year, 52 receptions. I'm looking up his stats right now. A guy that gets it done, and I think that's one thing that you have to pay attention to with this Dolphins offense is the tight end position, because Tua likes to go with that short passing game, like you said, and he's one of his main targets.
Yeah, listen, Jalen Waddle's a really good talent coming on for him. Devontae Parker, if he comes back, that's just another problem. But you're right. Mike Gesicki is not a blazing runner. He's just that guy that has a great feel how to play the game, and that's the best way. He's not a physically imposing tight end by NFL standards, but he's limber. He can make all the tough catches. And, yes, Tua will take some chances and throw him some iffy 50-50 balls, and the guy comes through most of the time. So, yeah, it's just another weapon. He's another one that goes up the seams that we talked about earlier. And Tua really trusting. So did Jacoby Brissett too. But, yeah, they got talent. And we just talked about 3 guys that are all good. They're a little disappointed, of course, like the Giants and their offensive line. And the running back situation is, by NFL standards, not even average. So that's a good plus, I think, too, for the New York Giants.
All right, Phil, 2 more before you say goodbye. One, this was another fan question. What would you consider the X factor here? This one comes in from @NeilBelieves for the X factor for this game for the Giants.
Oh, it's going to be the blitz. And listen, and Miami's going to do it. And it's all out. And like I said, they read it. So that's what the biggest issue is. You think you got it blocked and you do all go right. Well, they're reading that. So if you go right, those guys will drop back in zone, and the other side come blitzes or whatever. So how you handle it, I have watched them many times over the last couple years, the Dolphins, and when they have success on third down doing it, like they did against the Ravens, and they even did it some last week, then it becomes, well, let's just do it on second down. And then it gets to a point, they'll do it on first, second, and third down, and now it's just a lot of pressure. And can you find a way to get them out of it? I have really not seen anybody do it. Buffalo had a little success in the second half of their game in Buffalo, but it was just because Josh Allen dropped back farther and took the hit as he threw the ball down the field to try to make some plays. They did make some plays that kind of turned the game around. But they had Buffalo completely off balance, just like they did Baltimore. And that's, to me, that is the X factor of the game. If the Giants look like they're winning that battle, then I would think they would win the game.
Phil, I want to follow up on that. Is the way to beat that and get them out of it is by beating them over the top with big plays?
Well, listen, I was listening to a game on TV, and they go, oh, you got to do this. Well, okay, to get over the top, it takes a little bit of time, and the free runners, which are going to be there because you don't have enough guys to block them most of the time, they're going to hit you before those guys get deep. And the other thing is, too, and you guys know this, when you're blitzing like that, most of the time you have inside leverage as a defender.
Right.
So to go down the middle of the field, it's just a wives' tale. Yeah, if you can somehow avoid the rush or you get lucky and block them by accident with the extra guy, they run into each other, stuff like that, which they don't do because they've done it so much, they're great at it. It's just hard to do. And I thought the Baltimore Ravens probably did the best job at the end of the game. They started throwing quick outs, stuff like that, because that was the one thing they had. And then the Dolphins got aggressive in trying to take that away. Somebody broke his rule and said, oh, I'll be a star. And when you do something like that, then if you remember, Baltimore hit a big play over the top, had a chance to kind of get back in the game, and then Lamar threw an interception in the end zone. But, so that's really, I'm really anxious to see that, and so I'll be sitting at CBS and I'll be watching it, and that'll be probably the number one thing I'll be looking for.
Phil, sorry, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you about. What do you think of Barkley the last 2 games on tape since he's come back from his injury? Does he look right to you, or does it still look like he's trying to feel out his rhythm?
Oh, he's still feeling it out, no question. I thought the run when he went down the left sideline during the game, I thought, ooh, that looked pretty good. Then I ran it back a few times to watch the defenders, and I go, he's pulling away. And, he's not 100%. That's evident to see. But the fact that he could pull away from the defenders, knowing he's not 100%, it was better than it was in Tampa. So, I mean, I keep seeing little improvements, and, I can't wait to see him 100% if he can get there this year, just because we all, Giant fans, me, you guys, we remember when he was 100% healthy that he is scary in run game and pass game. So I hope he keeps getting better. It'll be fun to watch.
Phil, always fun. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks, my friend. Appreciate the time as always.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, Jeffrey, way to go. They dragged your big butt in there, so that's okay.
I made it. I'm here.
You made it. Great job. Great talking to you guys.
You too,
You
Phil.
have a good day.
Thank you,
too.
Phil.
Okay, man.
You as well.
All right, see ya.
That, of
Bye-bye.
course, is the Sim Spotlight presented by Bigelow Tea. Grab a mug and tea proudly.